The atmosphere was charged with tension the day Pamela Thornton scrambled over my fence, believing she could scare me out of her immaculately groomed community. A lone male with 4 big dogs was all she saw, and in an instant, she categorized me as an outsider, someone unwholesome enough to be unwelcome in Crestview Heights, her affluent Denver community. What she did not understand was that she had just chosen to fight the wrong residents. Pamela, the HOA's iron-fisted president, had bullied countless families before me, but she'd never met someone like me, nor my dogs, trained for much more than basic obedience. By the end of this, she would learn a hard lesson about not underestimating people, and that lesson would take down her carefully constructed empire of control. I'm Jake Ramsey, Senior K-9 Trainer with the Arapahoe County Sheriff's Department. I relocated to Crestview Heights 8 months ago after being promoted. The house was perfect, 3 bedrooms and a big backyard, ideal for training my canines. But my move was more than just convenient. A former military police friend of mine, who now works as a federal agent, warned me before I even moved in. Jake, he added, we require somebody we can trust in that area. Live normally, but remain vigilant. At the time, I merely figured it was precautionary. My dogs, active duty canines Blaze and Shadow, and retired veterans Titan and Luna, were well trained in detection, containment, and security. My life was orderly and tranquil. 5:30 a.m. brought training, full-time work, and on weekends, BBQing with my neighbors. The majority of residents, a combination of high-net-worth retirees and old-money aristocrats, appeared to be courteous at first. Then Pamela arrived. She showed up on move-in day with a clipboard and a manufactured smile. "Mr. Ramsey," she said, handing me a 47-page HOA rulebook. "I'm Pamela Thornton, HOA president." Her eyes hardened when they landed on Blaze and Shadow behind my fence. "That's quite a number of dogs," she said, clearly unimpressed. I tried to explain my position with law enforcement, but she didn't care. I could see it in her face. She had already concluded I didn't belong. The harassment started almost immediately. Each morning, she patrolled the street with a notepad, monitoring my schedule, my dog's routines, and even where I put my trash cans. Her questions weren't friendly. They were intrusive. "How long do you intend to stay? Is your job secure?" Her actions were anything but friendly. My military police instincts screamed I was being sized up, not invited. One night, while grilling in the back, Titan gave a deep growl. Blaze kept guard. I turned up and spotted Pamela looking out of her window. There was trouble. The first fine came in week 2, $200 for excessive dog barking. My dogs are trained to stay quiet unless commanded. No other neighbors complained. Pamela had claimed to have kept a detailed record. When I called to contest it, her reply was chilling. "Maybe this neighborhood just isn't the right fit for your lifestyle." It wasn't about noise, it was about power. Next, she imposed a $150 fine for pet waste smell, despite my twice-daily cleanings of the yard. She had an inspector hired at HOA cost who discovered nothing. Pamela still enforced the fine, citing her discretion as grounds to ignore the report. Next, a $100 fine for unsecured pets. Claiming my dogs could theoretically jump my 6-foot fence, I subsequently caught her snooping on me with binoculars. My retired security systems engineer neighbor Tom Kessler grabbed me by the arm. "She's done this before," he told me. "The Wilsons, Mrs. Lopez, even a biker couple. She finds people, pressures them to sell, then buys their homes on the cheap and resells them for profit." That's when it all fell into place. Pamela wasn't merely a dictatorial neighbor. She was operating a deliberate real estate swindle. Things quickly escalated. I paid $400 to have a sound technician come and record my dogs. They were measured at 35 decibels. well below the neighbor's 85 decibel lawnmower. I determine what is excessive, she bristled when I showed her the report. Tom introduced me to his dossier. 3 years of records, witness statements, and proof. Pamela had run off several families and made millions in profit. Then I received the call. Chris Dalton, a retired military buddy of mine, now with the FBI, told me, "Jake, see me tomorrow." That house was not a random assignment. We have to talk about Pamela Thornton. We arranged to meet at a quiet diner. Chris explained the facts. Pamela was the star of a $2.3 million property fraud scheme. She leveraged HOA power to harass families, coerce sales, and flip homes for huge profit. "You were planted," he told me. "We needed someone who wouldn't fold." He also broke the news that Tom was an ATF retiree who had been gathering evidence against Pamela. My job was to hold under the pressure while the FBI constructed their case. Then there was the threat. A text message vibrated my phone. "Stop digging or regret it." Friday came like a whirlwind. I was called in by Internal Affairs. Took me by surprise, under investigation based on phony complaints of menacing dogs, photoshopped images, and tampered audio recordings. "You're suspended pending review," said my captain. At midday, the animal control arrived with a warrant to take away my dogs, citing them as menacing animals. The officers, however, found Blaze, Shadow, Titan, and Luna sitting quietly at attention. One of them looked at me and said, "Those are the most well-trained dogs I've ever seen." The warrant was dismissed, but the message was understood. Pamela could and would attempt to kill me. That evening, surrounded by my pack, I whispered, "Should we leave?" Titan let out a soft whine, nearly a protest. Blaze laid his head in my lap. Luna nestled at my feet. Shadow stood by my side. Their devotion was unwavering. "No," I said. "This is bigger than us. It's about all the people she's destroyed." I phoned Chris. "I'm in. Let's finish this." The following morning, we convened. Me, Chris, Tom, and FBI agent Sarah Vance. The strategy was straightforward. Entice Pamela into committing a felony on tape. We set up a false construction project in my backyard, breaking every HOA rule she held dear. Piles of lumber, phony permits, loud tools, irresistible bait for someone who was control-obsessed. Surveillance gear went up across the property. Monday morning, I faked an exit to work. From Tom's surveillance truck, we observed. At 9:15 a.m., Pamela bit. Armed with binoculars and a phony badge, she over the fence. My dogs moved with precision. Blaze stared her down from 8 feet away. Shadow flanked her. Titan sat motionless. Luna monitored from the deck. No barking, just discipline. Pamela called her fixer. "I've got evidence. He's breaking the rules." That's when the FBI team moved in. "Federal agents," Sarah announced. "You're trespassing in an active federal investigation." Pamela froze. Then she tried to explain. "This neighborhood needs protecting from people like him." Sarah's eyes narrowed. "So you target homeowners by status?" "That's a hate crime." Pamela was arrested on the spot. Her co-conspirators, contractors, and crooked officials were brought down within the next 48 hours. The fraud ring came crashing down. She was convicted of 4 years for fraud, conspiracy, and trespassing, and forced to make restitution. Her $4.2 million scam on 12 properties was dismantled. A federal judge prohibited her from ever sitting on an HOA board again. The headlines were, "HOA President Busted in Multi-Million-Dollar Scam, Exposed by K-9 Officer." My suspension was reversed. I was promoted to K-9 Commander and given a $75,000 commendation. At the following HOA meeting, I turned down the presidency and nominated Tom, who won. We rewrote the bylaws together. Families such as the Wilsons returned. Kids played freely once more. At our initial community barbecue, Children threw tennis balls to blaze in shadow. Luna relaxed by the grill. Titan stood guard as usual. Pamela, she got a picture of the occasion in prison. The caption stated, "This is what real community looks like."